come once again to discuss things.
Get started though?
I'm all set now.
Alright, hi everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Geeky Gentlemen, this mini-sode of Geeky Gentlemen. Sorry, I get kind of, stuck in my ways, and I just like to say this week, but This is the double, this is the mini for this week.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I'm Sid Pardew, joining me today is Zazubar.
Hey everyone.
Zazubar, what are we talking about today? Because I would like to hear you try to describe it, because I don't know how to fucking say it.
I wish you the best in giving it a title. When you first told me about it, I was like, what does that mean exactly?
Right?
So, basically how Ian pitched this to me, and I'm going to describe it in a similar way, because it's the only way it makes sense to me, is top 5 kind of moments in TV and film. And what I took, and he gave the example of, well, I don't want to spoil your example, so I'll create my own. Let's say your favorite kind of moment is butt sex. I don't know, something like that. I guess would be like a vague, generic kind of moment that you see in a lot of TV and movies. And whenever we see this kind of moment, and I don't think butt sex will be on either of our lists, but if it is, whatever. Everybody's got their own tastes. What was I going to say now?
Milan just suddenly comes into the video and every item on his list is butt sex.
It's all different varieties of butt sex. I like the foreign butt sex and the other butt sex.
Yeah, but the idea is just things that happen that are kind of general and you see them a lot of times, but these are the kinds of scenes that can happen where it automatically just makes us go, yes, I love this kind of thing. Gets us kind of more interested in what's going on.
Totally. That's exactly how I took it, and that's what my list represents.
Yeah. Alright, so we don't do many I actually think this is the first list video ever.
This is definitely the first list we've done on Geeky Gentlemen.
Yeah, that's what I meant. So I was about to say we don't do mini list videos. We don't do any list videos until today.
Today is the day that everything changes. This is a really weird episode. We're recording at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. This is a fucked up episode.
Somebody couldn't stay up till 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I stayed up. I was just laying in my bed, contemplating my own life. That's what I was doing.
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So how do you want to do this thing? How do you want to start off?
Well, I figure just go 5 down and we'll, name the item and then talk about why we like it and, comment on each other's. Do you want to start?
Sure, man. I'll start off. I'll go first. So number 5 is a weird... Actually, I want to mention one that I didn't put on my list because it doesn't really count, but it's something I always enjoy in a movie, or I can enjoy it if it's done well, which I suppose goes for everything on this list. Just so honorable mention quick, I love really cool opening credits. I'm just a sucker for really cool opening credits, like, for example, the Superman opening credits, or the Doctor Who intro. Anything that's, I'm a James Bond fan, so all those kind of really stylized and intricate, almost films in and of themselves, kinds of opening credits with the songs playing and all the very evocative imagery, I'm a big fan of. And you can just really set a tone for your movie or your TV show and get the audience excited just with some music and a really creative way of showing people's names.
Yeah, I agree with that, and actually I'll do an honorable mention too. I do like opening credits that are really stylized, though. One of the best examples that comes to mind for me is actually the film Catch Me If You Can, because the opening credits tell you the entire movie, which is really cool.
Yeah, I also, I'll actually save this one because it works into another one I have later on, but I also love opening credits that are good at setting up the universe, so for, say, Watchmen.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I gotcha.
Watchmen's really good at that as well.
Alright, for mine, that was an honorable it's an honorable mention now. It was going to be on my list, but I decided it couldn't be because there's no way for anyone to really do it intentionally, I guess. I really like when something references something that I understand. Like, I like it when there's a reference that I get.
Oh, you mean like just somebody like makes like a vague like reference to like another movie that you understand?
Yeah, and it's just like, Psych does it all the time, and, you know, I'll laugh at it, and I'm like, well, I can't really count that on the list, because there's no way for a filmmaker to really know if I'm going to understand a reference or not, so...
yeah, it's always fun. Like, one that I loved, that I never told you about, I don't think, but I'm sure you got it, because I know you've seen this movie at least once, was Sherlock Season 1, in the last scene with Moriarty. He says something about, you know my weakness, but it is my only weakness. And I was like, holy shit, that's a reference to Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh, weird, okay.
Yeah, so I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. It's so out of nowhere, but I was like, that's fucking awesome, man. That's one of those lines in movies they reference a lot. So I like that a lot, too.
Okay. But let's go ahead and go to your number 5.
My number 5 is kind of building off of the whole opening credits thing, but this one is actually in movies and can be done well and poorly, so I wanted to put it in here. I love montages. I'm a big fan of a really cool montage, and usually I really there's two kinds of montages that I'm really, really a fan of, and I kind of put them all into one group. I love suiting up montages in superhero movies, but in the same vein, I also love montages of like, in a military movie, montages of the military gearing up to go to battle. Like in a Godzilla movie, you see like them building all like up all the big military artillery to go fight Godzilla. All that shit really gets me excited and gets me going. And if it's done in a really fast-paced way and edited with like, you know, it's close-ups, and it gets you excited to see the finished product is kind of what I'm getting to. And I always love that shit. I'm always a big fan of that shit. You incorporate it with the music and everything. I think it's really cool. But the other kind of montage I really like is when you're dealing with a story that takes place in a universe where the history is different. Where there's kind of, or even in a universe where they're just kind of doing a montage of everything that's happened to get us to this point. Like we mentioned Watchmen earlier, that's a good example of that. I mentioned Hellboy, but I wanted to save it here. I love the opening credits of Hellboy, where they do that montage of all the different newspaper articles and all like the scratchy Bigfoot-esque footage of Hellboy walking and jumping over rooftops.
You need a montage.
Yeah. I love that shit. It gets me really excited, and it's really eerie sometimes, and it's just a good way to set up your tone. And I think Hellboy is one of the best examples, because you're dealing with this very monster movie inspired universe filled with, ancient deities and all these weird creatures, so it's a really good way to open up the movie and set up that tone. Also a good way to open up Hellboy himself, because he's this kind of tongue-in-cheek but really rough character, and it kind of sets that up really well.
Yeah, I like montages for the most part, but I don't like when they kind of skip over stuff that could be more interesting than what we're seeing. That was my problem with the first Captain America movie for the longest time.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that, too.
Is I felt like, don't get me wrong, the montages are cool in the first Captain America, but God, I wish that movie was like an hour longer, just so that the second montage could actually be a fundamental part of the movie.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. That movie is a little bit lacking in really elaborate action scenes in general.
Yeah, I mean, like, the montages look fucking awesome, but they're like, damn, I really want to see, like, more of what's going on. And it's weird, because in Captain America 2, and I'll try to do this as spoiler-free as possible, you see in the trailer that he's wearing the World War II costume again, so in my mind I go, oh, cool, we're gonna get some flashbacks to, like, stuff he did, missions he did in World War II that we didn't get to see in the first movie. Nope.
No, not at all. I mean, they mention tons of them.
Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to see it, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, Captain America 2 makes up for the lack of really elaborate action, because they have a lot of elaborate action in the sequel.
Oh, definitely, yeah. But yeah, montages can be cool. I just don't like when they skip over stuff that could arguably be more interesting.
I totally agree. I love...
Kind of like, alright, it's not quite a montage, because it kind of goes on for too long to really be considered a montage, I guess, but in Godzilla Final Wars, all of the awesome-ass monster fights go by really quickly. Like, damn!
Yeah, could you
That could have been great!
I'm trying to think. I think there is a moment, though, where they go kind of montage, where they show Godzilla. Yeah, they do kind of do it, because they kind of just... Because there's that kind of connection of scenes where you have the alien leader, like, getting pissed off because Godzilla's taken out all his monsters.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really cool, but it's like, I want to see Godzilla fight Kamacuras or Godzilla fight Kumanga.
Yeah. Alright, anyway, let's go ahead and move on to my number 5. I really like continuity nods in shows that either you don't really get them that often, or that have such long-running continuity, and they nod back to really, really old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
An example of this is in one of the recent episodes of Doctor Who, Rings of a Catan, or however they say that, the 11th Doctor says, "I've been here once with my granddaughter." And it's like, oh, that's cool. I really like continuity nods to things that are really, really old.
Mm-hmm. And that speech he has is a couple of them, too.
Yeah,
that mention of the 3 Doctors and going to Omega's dimension. I love that one, now that I've seen the 3 Doctors, so...
Yeah. No, I really enjoy continuity nods. They're really fun. And Doctor Who has them a lot. I'm sure there's plenty in Star Trek, but I just don't know that universe well enough. Star Wars even has a couple that are pretty clever.
Yeah, definitely. I know you're watching this show right now, but the Incredible Hulk does it so rarely that when it does happen, it's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
When they mention stuff David Banner has done in the past. Like, I know you're past this point now, so it's not a spoiler anymore, but when his wife dying in the opening of season 2, in his arms because of the disease, they call that back so rarely that when they do, it's really, really cool. Yeah. There's this moment later in season 2 where they call it back where it's really sad.
Okay.
I really enjoy when they do that in that show, because that show is so insanely episodic that when they do it, it's like, yes!
It really is, and I like the fewer we get, the better it becomes. That was one of the really good things about Monk, is Monk was a very episodic show, but every so often we'd get this callback to not necessarily like his wife dying, but just like previous cases and stuff like that, and it made it really fun.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what's your number 4, Bill?
My number 4 is a twofer, because I couldn't split these up into 2. Comedic or tragic breakdowns. They're kind of different, but they both have the same effect to me. I love...
What do you mean by breakdown?
Alright, I'm going to give an example. I love in moments in TV and on film when a character just has a complete mental breakdown. And that usually is expressed in film with just this rant, like an angry, insane rant. So the example I thought of in my mind was Young Frankenstein. Because Gene Wilder has just these wonderful moments of just losing his mind on screen. And they're supposed to be funny, but they've got a tragic overtone to them. But more so in that case, it's more supposed to be for comedic effect. I mean, just the one that I always laugh at and I constantly quote is, "You son of a bitch bastard, I'll get you for this!" He starts strangling the monster on the table.
Yeah.
It's really fun, and he does it so well. It's a really good testament to an actor who can do a mental breakdown where you're not laughing at it because it's too over the top. Like, I mean, how many actors do you watch give a mental breakdown and you're just laughing at them because it's really fucking stupid? Like, Nick Cage has become infamous for this. Like, his mental breakdowns, they can be really powerful, but sometimes you're just like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah, or in, like, more serious things, I think it was season 1 of Breaking Bad when Bryan Cranston gets in the car and he just starts freaking out outside of one of the drug dealers. Like it's the guy whose office he blows up.
Tuco.
Yeah. when he gets in his car and he just starts like punching the wheel and shit, and gets really pissed off.
Yeah. When Bryan Cranston does it, it's always very powerful because, in Breaking Bad specifically, there's a scene in season 3 after he's talking to Skylar on the phone.
Uh-huh.
And he's literally sitting in his apartment in his underwear and like an undershirt.
Uh-huh.
And he just freaks out. And I think he says, "You can suck on my nuts," which is something that Walter White wouldn't say normally. So when he says it and then he just falls to the ground in like this like minefield of popcorn and chips, it's really, really powerful. And that's an example where when it's done seriously and it's supposed to be tragic that I really, really enjoy. I think you can do it both ways, and they both are really powerful to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of another more serious example.
In The Dark Knight, when Two-Face, or when Harvey Dent wakes up and finds his coin, which he'd given to Rachel, so he knows that she's dead.
Yep, that's an
before
example.
anyone's around, and he just does that. There's got to be a name for it, and it's something that, if I hadn't just thought about it, might have made this list. That when you see an actor scream, but they take out the audio,
yeah,
and it just like it's replaced by the score. That's something else I really like.
Totally. I just thought of an example that's not a mental breakdown, but it's kind of similar, where just a character clearly has an internal, just like something has just snapped in their mind, and they're just acting out of character. And I just thought of another Doctor Who example. At the end of The Waters of Mars, where the Doctor starts going Time Lord Victorious, he is terrifying in those 5 minutes. Absolutely terrifying. Because he just doesn't give a fuck anymore. And it's one of the few times where the Doctor does something that seems noble, but it's insanely terrifying.
Yeah.
Matt Smith got those moments too, like in Good Man Goes to War. He's pretty scary in some of those scenes too. It's really cool when they make the Doctor, like, scary.
I agree.
So,
yeah,
that's my number 4.
Okay, my number 4, and this has happened a lot more since we started getting more and more superhero movies. I like when there's a remake or, like, a sequel of something, and they bring back one of the big actors from the last version of it. An example of this is in both Hulk movies, Lou Ferrigno plays the security guard.
Oh, yeah.
Which is one of the things that makes me think that these two movies are not necessarily in separate continuities. Well, like, you gotta remember, when that movie first came out, they were, like, being really vague as to whether or not it was a full reboot, because there's a couple things, like that, and the fact that Bruce Banner starts out in South America in Incredible Hulk, and he ended up in South America at the end of Hulk.
Yeah.
So it's just, there's a couple little things where it's like, I don't know if these are separate continuities.
Yeah, but
or not.
the origin is completely different.
Yeah, but it's only done in the opening credits.
Yeah, but no, but the way they describe it, both later on and in that movie, is the circumstances of why he uses gamma rays, and what happens is totally different. He's trying to recreate the super soldier serum.
Yeah, I got that. I'm just saying, like, I think the movies are, like, they were being really vague about whether or not it was a reboot at the time. Is the point I'm making. But
I understand.
Yeah, but I really like when you bring back an actor, so, like, seeing Lou Ferrigno in both Hulk movies was pretty cool, and, you know, not necessarily a movie that I ended up enjoying, but I thought it was kind of cool to bring back Jeff Bridges and have him play, 2 different characters in Tron Legacy.
Oh, yeah, totally. That was awesome, and one of the high points of a really boring movie.
Right? Yeah, there's just, I like when you bring back an actor, and this isn't only in films, but it happens a lot in TV shows, too.
Oh, yeah.
Like, in the Batman, they had Adam West play the mayor of Gotham, and in Batman the Animated Series, Adam West was the Grey Ghost character.
How could they not give Adam West a cameo in the Nolan movies?
It was a little weird that he never got one.
Yeah. It was rumored, too, for Rises that he was going to have a cameo, but they never did it.
Yeah.
Just put him in the prison or something.
I like when Adam, like, when you bring an actor back for just a small cameo role or something. It's something that, like, probably should have happened in RoboCop, but it didn't.
Yeah, and that was his choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, I guess.
Peter Weller was not a fan of that movie.
Fair enough.
But
or like Star Trek when Leonard Nimoy showed up and both of the new ones, but it's not really a cameo. It's like a big fucking role.
Yeah, I like that in I like it in the first movie a lot, but in the second movie, I was like, this is not necessary.
Yeah.
I thought the
Mr.
reason
Spock,
why they didn't...
Mr. Spock.
What pisses me off about that, because of what happened because of it, is that because of what they did with Leonard Nimoy, they couldn't give Shatner a cameo then.
Yeah.
That pissed me off, because the whole thing is Captain Kirk is dead. So that really annoyed me, that now we can't give Shatner a cameo because of this.
True. It is disappointing.
Yeah. But yeah, I love those things too. I love continuity nods as well. I should have put that on here, but I figured you were gonna, so I was like, for the sake of variety. But I really love it too.
Bringing back an actor, it's always cool. They kind of did it. It's something that kind of happens in Doctor Who, depending on your viewpoint of
Day
it.
of the Doctor.
Yeah.
That's
probably
the biggest one they've done in terms of bringing back past Doctors.
Yeah, just for that little small scene, but yeah.
It tends to happen more by accident than they do it intentionally. I was like, oh, isn't that cool? Like, it's just, no, we have a very small stockade of actors, so we keep bringing them back. It's hilarious when you watch Sherlock and Doctor Who to see how many actors cross both shows.
Right.
Like the guy in Hound of the Baskervilles is Alonzo in Voyage of the Damned. So it's hilarious.
Yeah.
Same thing with when Jekyll was on. There's a bunch of actors in that too that are in Who and Sherlock.
Yeah, but I like when they have an actor come back for something, just because it feels almost like a passing of the torch kind of thing when it happens.
I'm so excited that Akira Takarada is going to be in Godzilla 2014.
I don't know who that is.
He was one of the biggest Godzilla actors in his day. He's in the original. He's in a bunch of them. So I was like, oh my god, they're giving him a cameo. I'm fucking there. I'm in, man.
Cool.
But yeah, my number 3 we're on? Yeah, we're on my number 3. This one's a big one. This one, big 3 now. These things I fucking go crazy for whenever they're in a movie or on TV. I love it when heroes and villains talk to each other. Just a protagonist and an antagonist just having a conversation. Seeing them fight is awesome. Seeing them talk to each other is better. Because you get to see why they hate each other. And... I mean, there's a million examples of that. Yeah,
fucking
I mean, it's...
Dark Knight's interrogation scene,
Yeah.
Like,
every
fucking
single
Loki
James
and
Bond
Iron
movie,
Man talking.
Yeah. Every single James Bond movie does this, or the best ones do it. Like, I mean, the most famous is Dr. No and Bond having that conversation about philosophy in Dr. No, where you kind of establish who these two guys are and why they are what they are. And the best James Bond movies tend to do that. And what it does is it allows you to see why these really kind of over-the-top characters have picked their paths and have stayed on their paths. But most well-done, franchise things and just stories like this with a villain and a hero do it. And most things with a protagonist and an antagonist have just scenes where they talk to each other. Star Trek II, Wrath of Khan. Frickin' Kirk and Khan never share physical screen time together, but that scene where they're talking to each other via screen is amazing. There's a million examples of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was great in Star Trek 2 when Khan and Kirk talked in that cell scene. It seems like ever since The Dark Knight, every movie has an interrogation scene. Even fucking Iron Man 2 had an interrogation scene.
Yep, Skyfall has one. Bunch of them have them. Frickin'
Thor 2 kinda had one.
I mean, frickin' The Avengers technically has one.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's in the fucking cage and Scarlett Johansson talks to him, yeah.
There wasn't one in Captain America too, though, so there we go. We've changed.
I'm sure we can count something kind of like an interrogation. Okay, anyway, yeah, you're right. Just hero and villain talking to each other is always so fascinating.
Yeah.
I do love it.
One of my favorites when I was a kid was, and it's so made fun of now, is when Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are talking on the roof.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really goofy, but I still kind of enjoy it, just on a sheer level. Like, it's so classic Spider-Man. So I really enjoyed that as well.
Alright, my number 3 then. And this one's a little more silly than yours. I like when actors play themselves and like they really ham it up.
Oh, God,
it's
yes.
like an example that's kind of in my head about this, and it's the thing that really made the show work for as long as it did, which is saying something because the show couldn't last 2 full seasons. But I really enjoyed in Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. James Vanderbeek played himself. And it was just so ridiculous, because, like, he had just some of the most, like, I have no idea how he could deliver any line that they gave that guy without cracking up, because, like, he wakes up one morning after he and everyone went out drinking, and he just looks like he's been, you know, straight through makeup, and this guy wakes up and he's, like, drool all over himself. He goes, "How do you look that good in the morning?" He's like, "I'm a celebrity, I always look good." And it's just... shit like that cracks me the hell up.
One of my favorite examples is every single celebrity cameo in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. The big two are Affleck and Matt Damon in when they were filming Good Will Hunting 2. It's fucking hilarious. Especially my favorite moment is when Ben Affleck is talking to Damon and they're talking about like the different kinds of movies you're making. Like, don't worry, man, you do one movie for the studio, one movie for you, and then you do a movie as a favor to a friend, and they both look at the camera.
Right.
fucking hysterical. I love how they make Good Will Hunting 2 an action scene. And then the other example is when Jay and Silent Bob break into the Miramax studio where they're filming the Blunt Man and Chronic movie, and you just see Jason Biggs, and who was the other guy? There was another actor. It was the guy from Dawson's Creek.
Yeah, James Vanderbeek.
Oh, that's who it is?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, that's funny. And they're playing...
Yeah, like, dude, there's a scene in one of the early episodes of Don't Trust the Bitch Apartment 23, and I only watched that because it was on Netflix. I'm like, oh, whatever. There's a scene where, like, she walks into his apartment, and you hear that theme from Dawson's Creek, "I don't want to wait for my life." This, like, woman comes downstairs, and she's got the flannel t-shirt. She's like, "You're gonna do the flannel for her?" "Maybe." Like, that's how James Vanderbeek just gets laid. He just constantly lets girls play that theme song and stuff.
And then Mark Hamill, too, in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back is hysterical as Cock Knocker.
Yeah, I like, it's just so much fun to see an actor, you know, kind of like make fun of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even Lindsay Lohan kind of did it. She wasn't playing Lindsay Lohan, but she basically played Lindsay Lohan in Machete.
Oh, that's awesome. I still haven't seen that.
Yeah, you'd get a kick out of Machete. It's just pretty ridiculous.
I really want to see it because they're doing the third one soon, so I kind of want to see all three.
Yeah, no, but like in the first one, Lindsay Lohan just basically plays herself because she's this like drugged out little girl and stuff, and you know it's pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
So I it's just something that always makes me smile when an actor plays themselves, especially when they're being like really cheesy or when they're just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, totally. I'm trying to think of another example of it. But yeah, it's really fun when they do it. Lou Ferrigno did it in what was it called? I forget. There was a movie with Jason Segel and Paul Rudd, mm-hmm. where they were playing these two guys, and one of them only had friends who were girls. He didn't have like a best guy friend, and he couldn't get, meaning he didn't have a best man. I think it's called I Love You Man, and there's a scene where he's trying to sell Lou Ferrigno's house in the movie, and Paul Rudd is. So Jason Segel's trying to help him, and they find Lou Ferrigno having lunch, and Lou's getting pissed at the guy because he can't sell his house, so then fucking Jason Segel starts making fun of him. Just like, hey Hulk, calm down. And he keeps calling him Hulk, and he's just like, don't call me Hulk. And then he just fucking strangles him. And he's just like, don't worry, man, I can calm him down. Just run away. Good. Oh, it was funny. It's really funny if you're a Hulk fan. But anyway, I love that too.
Uh-oh.
Shit, what
there
happened?
Goes the internet. Hello?
Hello, you there?
Yeah, okay.
What's going on? Oh, it's back, okay.
No, just lost connection for like 2 seconds.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the fuck? I guess we're on to my number 2?
Yep.
Alright. My number 2 is another thing I fucking just it fucking raises my spirits no matter what it is in a movie. I love speeches and monologues. Whenever
damn it.
you get to see any character just fucking give a rousing speech, or just give a speech at somebody they hate, or just anything like that, I'm just like, fuck yeah, you tell them. Just whenever somebody is given the spotlight, just to talk, I just always fucking love it. Randall gets it a lot in Clerks and Clerks 2.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's something I always love.
And I mean, it's always cool when the Doctor gets to do it.
Absolutely. Whenever a hero gets to do it, it's always awesome.
Yeah, like, a more recent example, fucking Idris Elba's scene in Pacific Rim is amazing.
We're canceling the apocalypse! Oh, it's amazing. It's fucking awesome. When military commanders do it, it's great, but, I love it when somebody is, like, down and out, like, about to lose, no matter what the situation is, whether it be a court case or a physical fight or a war or whatever, and then they just start giving a speech as they're about to go down dead or whatever, and it's just like, fuck you, motherfuckers! I love it in the court scene, whenever, like, the whole court case is against them, and the guy's just basically saying, like, or a girl, just a polite way of saying, fuck you.
Oh, dude, you'd love Boston Legal, then.
I do really,
because that's...
I'm in, man.
Every episode is that.
I'm gonna watch it. I really want to see that show. It looks so fucking good.
It's quite amazing.
Watch Mojo did a list of top 10 TV lawyers recently.
Yeah.
And he was on there, and I was like, and they showed clips, and I was like, oh, I gotta watch this show now. Now I see what Ian's talking about.
It's so much fun.
Speaking of lawyers, I love the ending of To Kill a Mockingbird, in terms of a more serious speech, with Atticus's cry for ending racism and all that, because he's like, you literally know this case makes no sense, right? And the only reason you're doing it is because you're all a bunch of racist fucks.
Yeah,
it's the sole point, and everybody is aware of this, and the guy still goes to the electric chair. But I love it, just like Atticus is just like, let's just put this on Front Street. All this is bullshit. Just making sure that's clear, and then he just sits down.
Yeah,
I love moments like that. Robert Downey Jr. in Iron Man 2, giving that speech to the Senate, and he just says a big fuck you to them, like, you can't have my property, you can't have me because that's prostitution. Say what you want about Iron Man 2, but that scene makes the movie.
That scene is somewhat that movie's somewhat problematic, but I do still enjoy it. Okay, so my number 2, and Bill's list is significantly more serious than mine. I just want to establish that. My number 2 is breaking the fourth wall. Every time it happens, I absolutely adore it. I put it in my movie constantly. There are all these fourth wall breaks. It's so much fun, and it's so clever because you very rarely see it coming. I love fourth wall breaks.
Yeah.
And, see, Watch Mojo just did a list of, top 10 fourth wall breaks, and they put a lot of characters that do narration. I'm like, no, narration doesn't count.
Yeah.
Even if they look at the camera when they do narration, no, that's not a fourth wall break.
I was like, they're like House of Cards. I'm like, House of Cards did that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of, narration scenes, and I mean, you could maybe count the first episode of Season 2, how it ends, but no, it's not a fourth wall break. It's a character that's narrating. It's their inner monologue expressed fully.
The Doctor did it. The Doctor did it once, and I was just like, oh god, that's fucking hysterical. But it counts more as narration, but it still kind of looks that way, because I think we talked about this once. It's one of the Fourth Doctor scenes, and the sonic screwdriver can't open the door. He just goes, oh no, not even the sonic screwdriver can get me out of this one. And there's nobody. He's looking right at the camera. It's fucking hysterical. I love it too.
I love fourth wall breaks more when they're used for comedy, but I think you can use a fourth wall break for some dramatic moments if you really try. But it's a lot of fun to use for comedy. I mean, even when Deadpool does it, it's great.
Yeah, but I think Deadpool
there's one of
made
the
it such
alternate
cliche.
There was one of the alternate endings for X-Men Origins. X-Men Origins, it has the scene that most people see after the credits with Wolverine sitting in a bar. The bartender asks him, drinking to forget? No, drinking to remember. And that's a good scene and all, probably the best serious scene in the movie, but one of the alternate after credit scenes is you see Deadpool's head, and like the eyes open and it goes shh. Really, really cool moment. No, I love it when Deadpool does it. He's a really fun character.
I keep fucking forgetting that Deadpool was in X-Men Origins and how bad that was.
Well, it's not Deadpool. It's the alternate universe version of Deadpool called Barakapool.
I'm so sorry, Deadpool fans. So sorry.
Right? And the thing is, Ryan Reynolds was so good in that first scene. You're like, everyone's like, oh man, this might actually be awesome.
Yeah.
Nope.
Nope, it's crap. I enjoy it too, but I think Deadpool's kind of made it a cliche. So whenever somebody does it now, they're just like, oh, they're just ripping off Deadpool now.
Mm-hmm.
Like She-Hulk just got her own book again, and she is actually the one who did this long before Deadpool ever did it. She constantly broke the fourth wall. And Deadpool kind of took her shtick, and now she's doing it again because it's her book, and people are saying, oh, she's just ripping off Deadpool, and it's like, no, she did it before Deadpool. Like, she would literally try and, like if the artist drew her in a sexy way, she'd look at them and go, thanks. Or she would try and, like, break out of the panels. It was amazing.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. I don't know why you do... She-Hulk is such a weird choice to do that with, though. But I'm sure it worked. I think that's a strange choice.
Yeah. No, I like it when it's used more for comedy, but like I said, I think you could use it for serious things.
Sure.
Alright, Bill, what is your number one?
My number one, sir. My number one is big. My favorite moment in film, television, everything. When these things happen, I'm fucking there, man. I'm into it. I'm like, oh shit, this is amazing. My number one is transformation scenes. I love transformation scenes. No matter what they are, no matter what you're turning into, I fucking love them. Whether you be turning into a werewolf, a Hulk, they're one of the few good things about the live-action Transformers movies. Just these things turning from something else into something more grand, something strange. I adore transformation scenes. It's just you just get to see one of the few good scenes in both Ghost Rider movies is Johnny Blaze turning into Ghost Rider. Especially in the first movie, they do it so insanely well, that build up of Johnny Blaze just going insane and just kind of in kind of like engrossing himself in the spirit and his face cracking and the fucking skin falling off as it burns. It looks painful, which is cool.
Yeah.
I love me some transformation scenes, bro.
Yeah, transformation scenes are a lot of fun. The only problem with them is when the transformation is cooler than the result.
Ghost Rider.
Not just Ghost, no, I mean, I like the design of Ghost Rider. I mean, then the result of the creature that we're given. You and I talked about this already, but, the transformation of the werewolf transformation in Hemlock Grove was so fucking cool, and it was just so disappointing because it was
just a dog.
Wolf.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh, it was so sad.
You can do a bad transformation scene, though. Of course you can. And one of the worst I ever saw, and this is a movie nobody has ever... I only remember the title of the movie. There was a werewolf movie I saw on FearNet one day. This is some crappy, low-budget werewolf movie. Who would know anything about that? There was a scene where they literally just... It was the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. This is why I didn't do it on screen in WOCP. Because it can look really shitty if you can't do it with anything more than just a fade. So they literally just had, So what they did was they literally took a dude, and they just did this very, very subtle, he almost just popped into the werewolf. Just there's no transition whatsoever. He's just like, I'm human, boom, I'm the werewolf. And wow. it was kind of sad because the design for the werewolf wasn't bad. It was just this very mediocre, very unextravagant change. And it's like, it's a horror movie, it's a werewolf transformation. It should look, it should be a big moment. Say what you want about the 2010 Wolfman, and you can say a lot, but I like the idea of those transformation scenes. It's just a shame that the CGI transitions really shittily into the practical effects.
Yeah.
I think one of the best werewolf transformations ever is in An American Werewolf in London. It's one of the best scenes in the movie. It won an Oscar, for God's sakes. Is when David turns into the werewolf for the first time. It's just, it's fucking painful looking, it's it's a big moment. I can't figure out how the fuck they did it. It just looks amazing with the skin crunching and bones cracking. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, transformation scenes can be a lot of fun. It's weird that it's your number one, but okay.
Why?
I don't know, it's just like everything else is like this more serious, like dialogue-driven thing, and then...
Yeah, but this is one of those things in movies where I literally get up and start cheering. Like, whenever Bruce or David Banner turns into the Hulk, I'm just like, yes! Yes, fuck you! That's why I put it as my number one, because it's those moments where I just start screaming like a little fangirl.
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Let me just mention this before we move on. One of the big things why I love Doctor Who is the regeneration scenes count as that too.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's why it's one of my favorite parts of Doctor Who is when the Doctor regenerates. It's just the build-up to it, the explosion of light in the newer stuff. Say what you want about Matt Smith's regeneration, but it's still really emotional.
Yeah.
And also the after effect of seeing the new Doctor wearing the previous Doctor's clothes is always really interesting and really sad and kind of cool. So that's also, I wanted to throw that in there before we moved on.
No, that's fine. Alright, my number one. And it's really the only, like, serious drama kind of thing on my list. But I have a similar reaction to you with your transformations, though. Because I just get really, like, charged and into it. I love seeing a bully get the shit kicked out of him.
Oh, fuck yes.
Like, especially if you get to see just how much of an asshole they can be beforehand. Mm-hmm. I was watching Hulk the other day, and it was the horror of whatever the fuck town he's in at the time. Yeah. You see this fucking asshole shop owner that just has his own problems, and he has to take him out on David, just like, fucking poking the bear, trying to get him to fight him. Just because he doesn't like that he's smarter than him. And I love just when you get to see a bully just be complete fucking douchebag, and then just see them get the shit kicked out of them next.
And it's always so satisfying with the Hulk. Like, the Hulk is the perfect character to do it with.
Oh yeah, definitely. Because as a kid that grew up being bullied, I always wished that I could just turn into the Hulk for like 2 seconds.
Totally. It would be so satisfying. They do it later in season 2 too, and it's almost even better because it's child abuse. So it's even more like, fuck this asshole.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I love seeing a bully get beat up. Hancock did it really well.
Oh god, yes.
People like, why the fuck would you mess with this dude? And they still did, because they thought they were tough or some shit. And, like, when he walks into the prison, and the guys are like, all the prisoners start surrounding him, and he's like, yeah, I know I might have put some of you in here, and, that's something that happened, but I'm gonna go to my cell now and chill. And, like, he starts to walk, and, like, the guy pushes him. He goes, now listen, you push me again, I'm gonna shove his head up your ass. Now I'm gonna walk to my cell. He starts walking. The guy pushes him anyway. And it just fucking happens, and you actually see it on.
Yeah, you don't see it happen. You see the after effect of it, and it's just so. It's physically impossible. But I love it. Like, those guys would be dead. Maybe they did die. I don't know.
Maybe. And like, there's the little kid that ended up playing Mike Myers as a child.
Michael Myers, not Mike Myers.
Whatever.
I just always laugh when somebody calls Michael Myers Michael Myers.
Hey, Larry!
Yeah,
no, like,
baby!
In Hancock, when the little kid that is a bully, he's a little French kid, which is weird. And he's like, asshole. And he's like, he just throws him into the fucking sky.
And he's like counting, he's like, wait, hang on. And then he catches him and he's just like, the kid's just fucked up. Oh, it was fun. It was great.
Right? No, I love seeing bullies get the shit kicked out of them. It's always one of my favorite things. I just get so emotionally charged, and it's just like, yes, finally, something awesome just happened.
Yeah, it's like, fuck you, fuck your shit, man.
Yeah.
Totally. I love those moments too. But I love it when it gets flipped on its head. when you kind of feel guilty that you felt that way, like in The Amazing Spider-Man, when Peter just grabs Flash and pushes him up against the locker. He's just like, I just wanted to say sorry about your uncle, man. And then Peter just feels like an asshole. I like those moments, too.
I guess. I mean, those are all right. I just don't really get into them.
No, totally. I find it interesting when they use it to make a point about, you know, getting your revenge and all that.
Yeah.
It is so insanely satisfying, but then when you stop and think about it, it's like, it's kind of wrong.
I don't care if it's wrong. It's something that, like, I need.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not gonna... I totally agree with you. But I like that, too. I always find that interesting.
I mean, honestly, it's a pretty healthy way for me to express my...
Oh, absolutely. Totally.
My anger. As, like, yeah, I just like to see fictional characters be, you know, hurt.
That's why they invented Grand Theft Auto, dude, so you could just go on a mass killing spree and not have to worry about the consequences.
Right? Oh, man. No, but, yeah, Bullies is the top of my list.
Totally, man. I'm there.
Alright, everyone, so thank you for listening. This was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we might have to do some more list videos.
Sure.
I can see the appeal of them. I got addicted to Watch Mojo because of you, and, all the lists have been like, damn.
Really? I got Dylan addicted too. Wow, that's so weird. They should fucking pay me for advertising that.
Well, it's just a very, like, addictive format,
It is.
I think.
It really is.
Anyway, so everyone, thank you for listening. Until next time, I'm the Philosopher.
I'm the Fanatic.
And we are your Geeky Gentlemen, and we will be discussing